But Dave, let's move on into our next topic, and this is one that we saw that was on YouTube on The Jump, and we thought, hey, why not talk about it? Because we love talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. See, I didn't do the hard G. Yep. I didn't give you the Giannis. No, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No Giannis here.
Had to do it twice because I learned how to say the name. Got to get your money's worth out of those practicing skills. See, now I can't say simple words like practicing skills with saying his name. But basically, we're answering the question of, Dave, next season, could Giannis Antetokounmpo win the 2018 MVP? What do you think?
It's going to take another jump. And to be fair, he has jumped every single year statistically, and he is a huge fan favorite. So I want to say there's definitely a chance for this. I think it's more likely that it'll be, the following year, but that's purely because of the, kind of downturn from Russell Westbrook we expect. I don't think he can put up another triple-double year with Paul George on his team. I mean, he'll be close-ish maybe, but still, I think there's going to be a lot of change in this year, so give it one more year, and he'll probably be there. But, I mean, come on. Last year he put up, 23 points a game, 8 boards, almost 9 boards a game, and 5.4 assists. So he's a little bit everywhere. 2 blocks, 1.5 steal a game. Look, across the board, he's a phenomenal player. He gives you a little bit of everything. The biggest thing for him is it's always what if he develops that jump shot? What if he develops that three-point shot? It's making him an even better offensive weapon. Turns him into horrifying because then he becomes something we haven't really seen before. Because right now, he's athletically a monster. He's got the length on everybody. He has really good quickness for his size. So I think just the physicality overall of him has exploded. And man, I want to say like, I'll give him a 30% chance.
I'm going to say a hard no.
Hard no?
A hard no. And the reason why, I'm going back right now, kind of backlogging all the way to the Dirk Nowitzki MVP. From the 2007 NBA MVP and looking at it, here's some of the things that I have in common. Last year was probably the only year this did not happen. However, I'm putting an asterisk next to last season because of what because of what he did with the triple-double and averaging it through the entire season, the breaking Oscar Robertson's record.
Yep.
You knew he was going to win it. You knew he was going to be the MVP.
I mean,
and
some
that was Russell
people
Westbrook.
voted against him still.
Some people did, but let's be honest. We knew as fans that it's like no-brainer. Yeah. Russ is going to be the MVP. But I look at everything else. 2016, Steph Curry. That Warriors team, first in the West. The year before that, Steph Curry. That Warriors team, first in the West. Then you look 2014 MVP. The Thunder, second in the West. Then let's go before that. LeBron in 13 and 12. In the 13 one, Miami Heat, best team in the East. The next year, the year before that, Miami Heat, second in the East. We go even before that. Derrick Rose in 2011, Bulls, top team
that was a crazy
in the
year.
Eastern Conference. That was also a very bad year, Dave. That was a bad one.
I know.
It was a great year, bad year. But then we got LeBron in 10 and 19, Cavs at the top of the conference in 10, Cavs in the top of the conference in 9, go back to 8, which was Kobe Bryant, Lakers, number 1 team in the West, and then 2007 with Dirk, the Mavs were the top team in the Western Conference. So the way I'm looking at it is since 2007, nearly 10 MVPs. The real question is, are the Bucks going to be a top 2 seed in the East? The answer to that is no. Your second question is Giannis Antetokounmpo going to average a triple-double and break Russ's season? The answer to that is no. So by answering those 2 questions, you have the answer to this one. He's not going to be the MVP.
I completely disagree with the fact that you think he either has to average a triple-double or he has to be the number 2 team to win it. Like, just because it hasn't happened that way before doesn't mean it can't happen now. And I think that voting is changing. The way that players are being valued on their teams and his effect on this team. Look, he went up 6 points a game last year. 6 points a game jump. He could do that again. It could be crazy. He could put up 28 a game. I mean, why not? If he puts up 28, 10, and 6, are you really going to be like, nah, he's not good enough. 28, 10, and 6 isn't good enough.
If you're the fourth, and especially
with
this
2
year,
blocks and an assist and a half,
especially this year, if you put up those numbers and you're fourth in the East, get out of here. Get out of here. You're not
this
in the
upcoming
discussion.
year.
Yeah, because the East is going to be so weak. So it's going to be if you're.
How does it matter if the East is weak? Does it matter that Russ just got absolutely stomped on by better teams in the West?
What I'm saying is if you're going to put up great numbers, but then you can't bring in a weaker. I'm looking at just the East now. In a weak East, probably the weakest Eastern Conference that we have seen in ever.
It's
basically
lost some star power.
Let's put it this way: if you're the fourth best team in the East, because right now, let's be honest, the Cavs and Celtics are fighting it out for 1 and 2, and right now, based off of last year, it's the Wizards.
Yeah.
So maybe even like I expect the Bucks to sit around 4. They could even be the 5, depending on how the Raptors do. I do not see an MVP coming from a team that is less than top 2. Not even maybe like top 3.
I say
you can
Russ
argue.
got it.
Top 3. Well, like I said, look at what Russ did.
Yeah.
He averaged the first time
I say 30,
ever,
10, and 10 versus 28, 10, and 6.
Basically, he's going to have
3 blocks.
He's going to have
2.
a historic season. That's the only way he wins the MVP.
I'm just saying, I don't expect the performances from this year to be repeated by Russ or Harden. So I think that individual stats from other guys, because they're all pairing up, is not going to go up. I think he's got a shot going forward of being a standout stud because the East is now primed for new all-stars, new guys to step in and fill that role of becoming a superstar. Giannis has the fan support in Milwaukee. He's exploded out nationally to like become one of the favorites. And I think right now it's like in the East, we talked about it's LeBron James, it's John Wall, and I think it's Giannis. I think those are your 3 best players in the East. So I see no reason why he can't compete for it. I think, it's going to take another large step, but up to this point, he hasn't proven that he can't do that. Like, all he's done is get better over his career. If he can figure out how to shoot more than, 30% from 3, then he's dangerous. Then he's even more dangerous. If he can learn to get that jump shot down pat, so he has a little bit more of that outside game, we're looking at something special here, Ricky. And that's the only argument I'm making.
The thing that, and I'm not going to say that he has a 0% chance. Obviously,
no, you said 0. You said there's no discussion here.
Okay.
Unless he has a triple-double or they win the East, he is not even in contention.
I've got maybe, I'm going to say 4 people
You're
right now.
You're going to backtrack on me?
4 people that I have that could win the MVP. If you want me to give a top 5, I'll give a top 5.
Give it. I think we all
my number 1 is going to be LeBron James. It's always LeBron James. He's always.
You argued he should have been the MVP this year.
Yes, should have been
You're wrong,
the MVP.
but you argued it
because of his stat line with the 5-5 and then shooting over 40% from the field.
I'm sorry. Guess who else did that? Giannis. Yeah, Giannis did that with 22, almost 9, 5.5. And he shot, let's check it out, 52%.
LeBron's team was also, and I'm falling back to it, and you're going to say, well, Ricky, it's a crutch. No, but it's true. LeBron's team was also the best team in the East.
With 2 other All-Stars on his team.
That's not the case, though. We're not looking at an MVP going, who else is on his team?
Well, I mean, we did. Steph Curry.
Like, when we look at an MVP, especially...
Who's been an MVP on a garbage team?
Just think of
out of that list.
Garbage team?
Yeah. Give me one where there wasn't another All-Star on the team.
I mean, just looking back from what we had. The Warriors obviously had
They have Clay and Dre.
They have Clay and Dre. Durant had Westbrook.
Yep.
We had LeBron in Miami, obviously. Had the big
no help there.
Derrick Rose, when he won it, had Joakim.
Joe at that time was good, but not a defensive player of the year. He became.
Luol Deng was pretty good for that
Luol
Bulls
Deng was
team.
good, yeah.
I mean, you look at LeBron when he was on the Cavaliers, then Kobe's Lakers, Dirk in the Mavericks. Probably maybe Dirk in the Mavericks, and then maybe the 2 Steve Nash years.
Steve Nash arguably shouldn't have won those anyway.
Well, it wasn't one of them. Should have been Shaq.
Should have been Shaq.
Yeah, should have been Shaq. So maybe since 2005 and 2006.
We got one guy.
And before that, it was Kevin Durant on the Timberwolves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that, we're saying that one guy can't win. I'm just saying, look, if he can put up those numbers without amazing supporting cast, and Jabari Parker coming back from that injury could be really good again. I have high expectations for him, but I am still certainly concerned. But this is a Bucks team that has been just getting better under Giannis, and I think that I think he's just the focal point, and because you're pushing that position, it's like our earlier talks about Lonzo Ball. Why do we have him as rookie of the year? Because look, the Lakers are going to use him in every possible way. They're going to get the most out of him, and he's going to run everything offensively for them. It's the same way with this Bucks team. They're going to want to run a lot of this game through Giannis, and it's been super successful. And I think it'll even get better if he can continue to grow his shot. Like, that's why I'm like confused. I'm like, he'll put up the right numbers just because you're saying, maybe not a top 2 team, maybe not a top 3 team in the East, but he could still be a phenomenal transcendent player for that one season. I think it's worth a stab. I think there's a percentage. I think he has a higher percent the longer he plays. I'm not saying next year is his best chance. I'm just saying he's got a chance.
And I'm even looking at this. I mean, I went back even further. So the 2 Steve Nash years,
absolutely,
the 06 MVP, the Suns were the second best team in the West with 54 wins. The 05 year, they were the best team in the West. The Kevin Garnett year, the T-Wolves were the best team in the West. Then the 03 and the 02, which were both Tim Duncan. And I know the Spurs, you could say, had a team around him as well. But also, the best team in the West one year, second best behind the Kings. That was the one where the Kings should have went to the finals if the refs called a fair game, but still a top 2 team. And then in 01, Allen Iverson, his 76ers, best team in the East. So, I mean, that's the big thing. I hate to keep bringing it up because I know what you're saying, and I think Russ kind of proved it this year.
You don't have to be a winner to be the best player,
but you have to. But also LeBron James proved, because you came out with a great point that Giannis did the same thing LeBron did, and I was advocating for LeBron.
Yeah, I mean LeBron did with more points, but at the same time, it's like Giannis can do very similar number or stat lines to LeBron, except even better defensively. So that's where my thing is, like,
and that's the reason why, like you brought up, voting is changing, and I think a lot of voters are going to take in mind the East, and they're going to say, "Wait a second, you did this, you're great and all, but you couldn't even be the third best team in the East."
I think you got to look at the East, and you still respect. Do you not respect the Cavaliers?
The Cavaliers
do you not respect
and the Celtics, they're the only 2.
Really? The Wizards? You're giving no credit to the fact that John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Otto Porter together?
The Wizards will probably be the third best team this year, lose to either the Cavs or the Celtics.
Yeah.
And they're still how it's going to be.
Very good team.
It's also, though, if you are the MVP, you should be able to bring your team and make it better. Should be able to make it better.
Like somebody did last year?
Yeah, like Russell Westbrook.
And where'd he finish?
He finished, they finished sixth overall in the West, I want to say.
Yeah.
They finished
not so great.
That, like I'm saying, the West year, I'm not saying it's totally 0%. There's some chance that Giannis can win the MVP. Me personally, I don't see it, because I look at, you could say the Bucks team, look around them. Yeah, they have pieces, but is it enough to transcend Giannis into I caught myself. I said the hard G. Giannis into the pantheon and into the top 3 in the East? I just don't think so. And I think that is going to hold him back from winning the MVP, because we're going to look at teams like if the Cavaliers win the East, LeBron James will be obviously in the front running. Let's be honest. LeBron James could sit out games and he won't be in the front running. You could look at the Celtics, and I mean, Gordon Hayward could maybe be in the running for an MVP.
Goose egg. I will call it right now.
The Celtics. Maybe we look at John Wall. Maybe John Wall's in the running for the MVP. Or look at the entire West. The West could break it this year. Russ could be back at it.
Yep.
James Harden could be back at it. You look at Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. They could be back at it as well. I feel like Giannis, there's too many people that are going to not necessarily like have better stat lines overall.
Yep.
Obviously, like I said, last year, no one was beating Russ's stat line with the triple doubles.
Absolutely.
But I think looking into it, voters are going to say, you know what? Last year was almost an anomaly to me of like, no one's going to average a triple double this year. Obviously, Russ, I don't think so, because now he's got PG with him, and that's going to take, maybe he can average a
He'll have less
triple-double.
shots.
He'll have less shots.
Scoring's not the problem with Russ.
It's
He won't have a 30-point.
Rebounds is the thing that I'm worried about with him going into this season.
Well, it depends what kind of a scheme they run. I mean, if they run it where they want the point guard to rebound to get the offense moving quicker, that's still an option for them to do. But I do think Paul George will soak some boards for him. It's definitely the hardest part for him to get, so fair enough.
James Harden's the interesting one in this conversation because you mentioned earlier, I don't see James Harden having the same season.
Yeah, because Chris Paul.
It's going to be interesting how Chris Paul plays into it because Chris Paul could make James Harden better to where he doesn't have to.
I think Chris Paul and James Harden are both going to average 10 assists a game.
No, I think that.
Then it's not happening.
I think Chris Paul is going to average the more assists.
Yeah.
And it's going to be feeding James Harden, which is only going to help his numbers.
Guard.
Yeah. And obviously, you look at Steph and Durant, the only thing that you look at from this past year was this year Russ being so good, or was it Durant and Curry being on the same team and them kind of taking away stats from each other?
They definitely did. And you can look at just the pure shot attempts of Curry and Durant this year and see why. But at the same time, they were more efficient. But guess what? NBA has become a much more efficient league, but it's not always rewarded by awards. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, Giannis is going to stuff that stat line. Like, he can do a little bit of everything, and if he develops that shot, he's the scariest player in the NBA. The thing is like you said, is he going to be able to take this team with Brogdon, Middleton, Parker, and Thon and really take them to that next level? Can they overtake the Wizards for the 3 seed or the Raptors? I mean, I don't want to discard the Raptors totally. I just don't see them being able to jump over that hill.
Yeah.
Could happen, though. So I don't want to rule it out. I think that as time goes on, he'll have a better chance. I think he hasn't hit his peak yet. I think that 2018, 2019, like, it will only go up from here.
Here's the thing I want to put out there. The question was, was he going to win an MVP in 2018?
Yep.
My answer to that, like I've been saying, is no. However, he's got a shot to win an MVP in his career. Like, if you asked me, could Giannis win an MVP before he retires, I'd say yes. Because as he gets older, and obviously LeBron's not going to be here for much longer, the whole Warrior thing, we'll see if we put them, if they can keep it together.
5 years ago today, I mean, look at the state of the NBA versus now. Like, you can say, oh, the NBA, there's no competition, this is all garbage. Like, 5 years ago, we were talking about an entirely different NBA. This Warriors team didn't even exist in the state they're in. We're talking about the Heat are dominant. We're talking about the Thunder being, you know, oh my God, they're set for championship contender for the next, like, half decade. Like, come on. And then just split a thing. And Spurs are just there.
Let's put it this way. Just this upcoming year to next year, just the 2018 to 19, I think he has a better chance of being the 2019 MVP than he does being the 28
That's
MVP.
what I've been saying.
Only because the Cavaliers, if you lose LeBron, you trade Kyrie, whoop, you're falling down.
But the East gets worse then.
You're falling down. But honestly, if you're a top 2 team in the East, that's what I feel like. Like, people are going to look at, if you're top 2 in the East and have the numbers to back it up, people will go, yeah, sure, MVP vote. But after you start falling, like 3, they might look at it and go, well, okay, maybe. Anything after 3, I think voters will look at it.
Just saying.
Voters will look at it. But do you see Giannis putting up numbers anywhere near and part of that was the kind of, I'll call it the record hype. Yeah. Of take the Oscar Robertson situation out of it, and we're not talking about
say he goes 39 and 10.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he still gets the or I'd even say let's say he averages a triple-double on the season, but we don't talk about the Oscar Robertson thing. Robertson, and he doesn't get the record. I think then if we're not having that hype around it, it's like, well, you know what? How good of a season is Russ?
It's incredible still.
Exactly. Like, it was a great season.
I feel like I have to drill this in people's head. Like, why are we acting like a triple-double is good?
No. I'm not making that debate. I'm just saying the Oscar Robert, like the whole chasing, because even look at baseball. Back in the day when we were like 6, 7, 8 years old, the great race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa to see who can hit and who can break the record fast enough. Everyone bought into it. you watched Cub and you watched Cardinal games, especially when they played each other, just to see what was going to happen.
And then Barry Bonds shit on them both.
Yeah, Barry Bonds. But I'll still remember, and this is sidetracked, but I'll bring it up anyways, Mark McGwire doing it against the Cubs, doing it against Sammy Sosa, being the first one. And then Sammy did it, and then Mark McGwire finished ahead of him. But that's what I think with Russ. Because he was chasing that triple-double, kind of helped the mystique of that season. Not saying he didn't have a good season, Dave. The triple-double is fine. It's good.
Gets me fired up when people disrespect the triple-double.
Don't have to blow a gasket on the triple-double. There was just a mystique to that, and that's why I put the asterisk
Definitely
next
got
to,
the ESPN hype. It got a lot of the general media talking. I will not disagree to that.
And this is where I want to get what you guys have to say, because Dave and I have talked enough on the MVP. What do you guys think? Could Giannis Antetokounmpo, had to say it one more time.
Gold star for this guy.
Had to say it one more time. I practice, guys. Could he be the MVP this upcoming season? And give us why. Do you buy into the has to be a top 2 team in the conference? Do you think he can do it while being the 4th team in the East? That's the one I want to hear from those people the most, because I don't think he could do that. Let us know what you guys think, though, down below in the comment section.